Okay, this was great. The Resorts World stats will have to wait until the next video because something amazing just happened at that Abbey poker table. That was very entertaining. And Cliff Notes, a player and myself each got into a short but aggressive argument with Abbey poker. Alright, day 17. If things go according to plan, this video, the day 17 video, getting published on December 19th. Now, the December 15th Monday free Patreon post, in that post I gave a few details about my lifetime Resorts World sessions, my lifetime profit loss number. Didn't give the final number. I said I would give it in this video, so I'm going to at the end. Earlier today, I looked up those numbers, shocked at what I saw. You'll see why I was shocked. Might not be what you think, but you'll see why I was shocked later. Also about to go in, doubt that the final day of the main event is still going on. 35 people came back for day 2. If it's still going on, it is. But if not, then it's not. I'll see when I get in there. All right, just walked in. Heard something. Thought I heard something over there. Just walked in. The day 2, final day, just ended. They were just getting the chips together. It was over. Last hand ended right before I walked in, and that's done, so I won't be dealing that. I will find out what first place got paid, for anyone wondering. I don't know that yet. 7 p.m. tournament is going on one table, no cash games, and a little change to the schedule. Hard close tonight at midnight. It is a Sunday. Hard close at midnight, and then the room is closed for the next, I think, 3 days. Thursday doesn't pertain to me because I don't work on Thursdays. I think it's either reopening Thursday morning or Friday morning, but we would normally go till 2 a.m. today, Sunday into Monday, but no. It's almost 8 o'clock, and it will be a hard close at midnight, which means no 10 p.m. tournament, because you can't be sure that's going to be done by midnight. I don't know if it ever has been done by midnight. Probably between 12 and 12:30 before, but I don't think it's ever been done before midnight. So this tournament will end, and I think about half the table wanted to play cash, but there was no cash game going when they got here, and the tournament was about to go off. So when this ends, it might turn into a cash table. I'll see. Alright, update. Tournament. That was a fun tournament. So the tournament was the only thing going, and 6 people, one of them I'm told is Abbey Poker, 6 or 7 people came in, started a cash game. One guy in the tournament thought this is going to be the juiciest cash game of all time. I don't know. Actually, in my experience, a group of friends usually isn't. Often plays soft. It's very fun and social, but not great for like huge pots and all in. This guy thought it was going to be one of the great cash games of all time, and he was just going all in constantly, and that ended pretty quickly. Now that cash game is full. There is a little interest for a second. I don't know if it's going to start. We're told we could run the 10 p.m. It's going to be a judgment call on the floor. If he gets enough interest, we could run the 10 p.m. tournament. If the 10 p.m. tournament runs, when it ends, and I think the cash game will finish that high hand period. So if it ends at 12:37, well then the cash game can go till 1 o'clock, till that high hand period, that 30-minute high hand period is done. So if it doesn't go, hard close at midnight, and I just told you what happens. If it does go, we've had some interest. I don't know if anyone has officially signed up, maybe one, but I don't even know what time it is. I was on break, I dealt. It's between 9 and 9:30 right now, so that's what's going on. I push in and I deal to Abbey Poker in the next half hour. Okay, this was great. The Resorts World stats will have to wait until the next video because something amazing just happened at that Abbey Poker table. I still have my shift going on. The 10 p.m. tournament went off, so when that ends, like that's when the room is closed for the night. So I will tell you when it's, I mean, for you it might just be like 10 seconds, but for me it'll be I don't know, a couple hours till I get to tell you the story. That was very entertaining, and Cliff Notes, a player and myself each got into a short but aggressive argument with Abbey Poker. Alright, before I get to the Abbey Poker circumstances, 10 p.m. tournament, it's funny that we, at first, last night, I thought we weren't going to run it because we had a hard close at midnight. We could run it, 26 entries, that's a lot for our 10 p.m. tournament. They almost got to second break. Every 6 levels there's a break. We get to the first break every time. That's when we take the 100s and the 500s out of play. Level 12 is 10,000, 20,000 with a 20,000 ante. Starting stack in the tournament is 20,000, and they got close. During level 12, it ended. I dealt the last hand. Like somehow I do like almost all the time. So yeah, minimal cash games, but the 7 p.m. tournament went, the 10 p.m. tournament went, the main event ended. By the way, something I got, here's a picture of first place money for the main. Two interesting things to know about people who played the final day of the main event. The guy who won and got that $27,000 in change played the 10 p.m. tournament. That's awesome. He just loves poker, I guess. And someone who also made day 2, the day 2 restart was at noon. He showed up at 10, played the 10 p.m., the 10 a.m., the first daily tournament of the day for $75, and then did the day 2 restart playing for $27,000 up top. So 2 guys who just love poker. That's awesome. Okay, now it gets to Abby poker things. She came in, her group was 6. I was dealing the 7 p.m. tournament when they opened the only cash table going at the time. And 2 other guys sit, eventually, 2 people not associated with them. Give you some background before I get to what happened. They were treating it like a home game. I don't love games like this, but somewhat flexible at times, kind of. So, I don't know. 2 of them were filming. I think one had permission, the other, I'm not sure either way. They were like showing each other some cards. They were like exposing cards during hands. One guy got his whole cards. Abby Poker folded, and he instantly showed her his cards. They were sitting next to each other. No one else at the table saw what those cards were, what he was dealt, what cards were impossible to hit the board on the run out, and how he played those cards. Only she did. Another guy, 3-handed on the river, exposed the card. On purpose, I think for like content purposes. Didn't ask me if it was okay. I would have said no. Didn't ask me. He did it anyway. I didn't say anything because they're like treating this kind of like a home game. The 2 guys who weren't a part of the friend group didn't say anything. They didn't seem to mind. That's the big thing. If they don't mind, I'll let a few things slide, but like you shouldn't be doing either of these things. Someone else exposed cards to one half of the table, not the other half. They were doing things you shouldn't be doing, but in home games, no one would care. And the 2 guys who were not associated with them didn't mind in the least, so I was letting these things go. Gets to a point where Abby Poker's in a hand. She goes all in on the river, and seat 2, who's a friend of hers, is thinking about it. I was actually in a conversation with a different person in the friend group. We were talking about volleyball, and apparently the guy in the 8 seat who was not associated with the friends said, like, come on, this isn't a difficult decision, to the guy facing the all-in for about 150 effective. He shouldn't be saying that. It is by far the least severe thing that's out of line that's happened at this table since I sat down. If I were flooring, I wouldn't even give him a warning for that, but like, you're really going by the letter of the law. Okay, he shouldn't say that. For one, we don't know what he meant. I think all he meant is like, it's all in or fold. Like, you can't raise, like you normally have 3 options, but all right. The guy was taking a bit of time, but this guy says that. I didn't even hear him say it because I was talking about volleyball. And Abby Poker snapped and told him he can't say things like that. And then I said, like, what happens? And she said, he's telling him the strength of my hand. And I said, he saw your cards and he told him what you have? And at first she made it sound like, yeah, that's what happened. That's not close to what happened. I didn't believe that was what happened. So again, I asked, he saw your cards? And he said what they were? And she says, no. He said, this isn't a difficult decision that totally changes everything that's going through his mind right now. She said something like that. So I kind of like shrugged and said like, yeah, he shouldn't, but like, okay. Like, there's no penalty. Yeah, I didn't even give him a warning. And I kept talking about volleyball. Then, I don't know, they kept like talking back and forth, the guy who spoke up, who's not in the hand, and Abby Poker. And then Abby Poker started cursing at him. And I said, well, we're definitely not going to use language like that. And then she said, like, he can't do this, it's affecting the hand. And I said, he exposed a card on the river, and your friends are showing each other their cards. What he said is not close to as severe as what's been going on at this table. And then she said, that's different. If you're in the hand, you can do whatever you want. He's not in the hand, he can't say anything like that. And then the guy folded. She still tipped that hand, even though it seemed like she hated me for not caring that the guy did something very minimal. And then she said, if it's gonna be like this here, I'll go play at Aria. By the way, at Aria, you can't do these things either. But she could go to Aria if she wants. And then the entire group of friends left. The two people who weren't part of the friend group stayed, and a third guy showed up, and they played three-handed for like 5 minutes before the cash game broke. And it was getting close to 10 o'clock, so all three of those guys played the tournament. But yeah, that was odd. In a non-poker perspective, the same rules are applying to everyone. You can't treat it like a home game yourself and then snap when someone who's not a friend of yours treats it like a home game in the same manner. From a poker perspective, I don't know, I haven't watched many of her videos, if any. My guess would be she played a lot of like home games where this stuff is allowed, very little in casinos, and like a lot of her casino play is stuff that's streamed, and this stuff is allowed and even encouraged sometimes. But like, this wasn't a private game. They shouldn't have been doing any of these things. If you're gonna be doing those things and the players are gonna be okay with it and I'm not gonna say anything, then a guy saying, come on, this isn't difficult, is not out of line in the least. So that was very odd, and things escalated very quickly, which was a little annoying because I was having a nice conversation about Nebraska volleyball with the guy in the 5 seat. Two other people in the friend group played volleyball still. Played volleyball, by the way. I wasn't really talking to them though. Learned that at the end before they all snap left. But yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know why she snapped, why she thinks leaning over and looking at her friend's cards when the other 6 people at the table never get to see those whole cards is okay. But that guy saying, come on, this isn't difficult, is out of line. I don't get why a guy showing a card three-handed on the river, you shouldn't be doing that heads up. If you're heads up on the river, we don't want you to expose a card. Unless you're doing it all night, like habitually, probably not saying anything, but you shouldn't even be doing that heads up. Although it's not awful heads up, three-handed is just, you can't. He did it, he didn't even ask, and they're doing things like that the entire time. It was pretty close to like, I'd say I was there like 22, 25 minutes before they snapped left out of rage. But yeah, things like that were happening the entire time. And that guy in the 8 seat saying, come on, that's not a difficult decision, for some reason made her snap. So, very entertaining night. Love a good controversy, especially when I'm in the middle of it. And yeah, ironic that, you know, if the 10 p.m. tournament didn't go and there wasn't a cash game going like we've had once or twice, when we officially canceled the 10 p.m. we would have left. So I would have been out, you know, around 10:30. Turns out not only did the 10 p.m. go, it lasted so long that it was pretty much a full shift. Normally on Sunday into Monday, clock in at 8 and we close at 2. So I clocked out at 1:30. So it's pretty much like I just got the full shift in there. Dealt almost exclusively tournaments. Did deal that what I call 9/10 of a down, because things kind of broke down and I didn't really deal every single minute of that Abbey Poker group down. But yeah, enjoyed it. Now I got some days off. Do not worry. Still get a video a day for this series, even though the next 3 days I don't have a shift. My next shift is Thursday morning in Orleans. So yeah, have some time off. First time I've had 3 days off since right before PH put me to 5 days, when I was 4 days after the World Series. You know, I had those 4 shifts in a span of like 3 days and 4 hours, and then my weekend was like 3 days and 20 hours. So I haven't had 3 days off in a while, and got some things planned. And remember, rice is a spoon food.